Speaking of that, I'd like to give you an update on what's happening with InfoWars.
Go for it.
Okay, because I've seen you guys cover it, and you've been very overall fair, but I don't blame you not knowing, because it would take years for you to know it all, okay? Because I didn't understand it until later in the process. So 12, 13 years ago, a kid on a bunch of SSRIs, his mom buys a rifle, he goes, reportedly shoots a bunch of kids at this school. In Connecticut, I don't ever say that it was staged for, I forget the exact number, like a year or something. Professors in Florida and Wisconsin and a bunch of other places, they come out and they say they think it didn't happen. And then they start giving what their evidence is. It becomes this sensation on the internet, hundreds of millions of views, some videos per video on YouTube, tens of millions. My listeners are demanding I have these guys on. So I have them on. I have them debate newspaper editors that think it did happen. And I probably did 10 shows on it total over the years. They put into evidence suing me 22 minutes. And it was just me with a caller going, caller's like, I think it's fake. And I said, I can see it's synthetic. Yeah, fake. And then they would use that to then say I sent people to pee on the kids' graves and all this stuff that never happened, period. You understand? Much less from me. And then Hillary runs $25 or $26 million, whatever it was, of ads the last month of the run in 2016, saying Trump says Alex Jones is amazing. Alex Jones says this never happened. And they show like a 3-second clip of me saying synthetic fake. Then Trump wins. Well, then I didn't know what was happening. They start running, I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of articles a day, sometimes thousands. I get the Google alerts because it'd be like an AP article, be everywhere syndicated. Some days 33,000 articles, but it would be AP in 25,000 places. But I'd be on every channel. Remember, for months and months and years, like they were invading a country. And I didn't understand. Well, they were running ads through these charities that were set up in association with Bloomberg and the families. Whenever you hear the families, there's 20 families. 6 people from like a couple families are who sued me. I only ever said the name of one parent. Okay, under the law, you're not supposed to be able to sue somebody unless you said their name. So I didn't know what was happening until last year when we got the documents. People pointed it out where to find it. Mike Benz type folks, not him. It was in the public record. So I'm sitting there for like 2 years before they sue me. I haven't even talked about it in years. Before they sue me, I'm like, I think it happened. Stop saying I did this to you. They were running ads on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where it wasn't for gun control. It's Alex Jones attacking us. They're attacking us. We need money. So we later learned they raised at one charity, just run by 2 of the parents, $300 million off of my name over like a 5-year period, and directly off of me. Like they attack me, the money goes for nothing. This they sue me. This the show trials happen. Boom. We then learned that the Justice Department would pay the Connecticut law firm 1 to 2 weeks before each time they would put their bill in each year, and then the Justice Department would give that exact charity, there's a couple of them, millions of dollars. We have all the screenshots off the federal websites, all this, okay? And there's a lawsuit being filed imminently, probably even today, finally, my civil rights lawsuit for all of this. So I didn't understand what's going on. Like, why am I on every channel? I barely ever talked about this. I'm in restaurants. People are going, quit making your money off those kids. They're saying I made hundreds of millions off these kids. They're saying I have hundreds. I never made hundreds of millions. My company had made gross hundreds of millions, but that's like you sell a water filter and you make 35% on it. This guy sold $10 million of water filters. Yeah, we made $3.5 million, and we advertising and crew. It's like business. So look, this company made $60 million this year. Yeah, and about $20 million of it was genuine profit. You pay half in taxpayer employees. So, but they're saying he's got hundreds of millions he made off these people. They're telling the juries, but here's the key. They said I never gave him discovery. I gave him all the discovery. Everything. It was made up that I didn't give him discovery. Then the judges find me guilty. It's called a default, which they did to Mike Lindell recently last year. Mike Lindell said Smartmatic and Dominion were doing things that were wrong. They've since been indicted. They've since had to admit a lot of it. But you know what happened to Mike Lindell? 6 months ago, the federal judge said, I'm ruling, you can type this in, judge finds Mike Lindell guilty, Smartmatic. The judge said, I find you guilty. There's no way to access a Smartmatic remotely or by the internet, even though it's built into them with phones. And so now he's going to tell a jury this year that Mike is guilty and the jury will rule against him. So that's default right there, okay? Judge rules. My pillow guy, Mike Lindell, defamed Smartmatic with false claims. He was defaulted. But in this case, the judge didn't even say he didn't give him discovery. They don't want his discovery. It's all to prove he was right. the judge is finding that it's impossible because these machines cannot be accessed. They have cell phones built into them and ports plugged into them. We have famous cases in the elections where the Dominion and Smartmatic crews come in during the elections and plug in. Everybody knows that. So the point is, this fundamental lie, this is how they get you now. We need major reform over this default garbage. So both judges in Texas and in Connecticut find me guilty. They then have show trials after 4 years suing me, 1 month after the next, right before the midterms. Okay, last time before, right before 2024. No, 2022. And so I'm in there, and there's lights, and they're putting powder on the judge and the other people, and the judge, kicks the jury out and cuts off the YouTube feed and says, now there's 20 things you can't say. You can't say you're innocent. You can't say you don't have 400 million, all this stuff. And I'm like, and so people said, why aren't my lawyers defending me? She would then go have conferences behind the deal, not let them have a record of it, and tell them, I'll sanction you, you can't do it. So it was literally totally rigged. First time guilty, but now she's got to have the show trial where the jury's told I'm guilty, given false evidence. They put on days of evidence that I had $300 million in the bank. The man never examined our files. It was just totally made up. He said our whole business model was different than it was. He talked like Thurston the Howell the Third. It wasn't even, and then the jury, we talked to them later, they go, well, since you got $360 million, we thought they deserved 10% of your money. I mean, 45 million. And meanwhile, I was negative in the bank then and had never made more than myself like $8 million, $10 million a year. Okay, those are my best years ever. I need it for legal fees anyways. So I'm just sitting here, and the judge said those 2 days, you are not allowed to put on a defense. We had to sit there and say not one word while this guy just gets up there and makes up a complete
Who's this judge?
Fantasy land. She's literally you go to her Facebook, she supports, Antifa, everything else. Her judge's name is Guerra Gamble.
Guerra Gamble?
Guerra Gamble.
There it is, yeah, Guerra Gamble.
Yeah, and then she is literally, used to have like on her Facebook blue hair. And
her?
Yeah, that's her. And
what do we know about her?
In Texas, the judges are elected. She's literally financed by consortiums of Soros money, and she's just unbelievable. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
So where's it at now?
Well, listen, it gets worse. Then a few years later, the HBO produced a documentary. Okay, so it's all scripted. I'm forced to be an actor in this. I didn't understand until later. That's why I couldn't talk unless they couldn't say I was innocent. And she walks the red carpet at South by Southwest, this is the main premiere at the big giant movie theater with everyone clapping like she's a movie star. Judges aren't supposed to be in a movie about their own deal that they shoot during the trial and then walk the red carpet and be part of the event. That is unbelievable. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Where is it at now? What I want to, how much have you paid? What can you disclose to us? What's next?
Well, yeah, that's how the lie always works. He refuses to pay the families. Of the 20 families, only 6 people sued me. Never said the names of anybody but one person. And so they got a $45 million judgment in Texas. They got a $1.4 billion in Connecticut. The interest on it's like $600 million already. If you remember, they asked for $2.67 trillion or 2.76. What was it? Guys, type in Bloomberg. Sandy Hook families lawyers asked for over $2 trillion. And so, which is the GDP of India. And it's all about horrifying people. It's all about driving people into submission. So
stop it.
Yeah, 2.75 trillion now, sorry.
Sandy Hook family said a Connecticut judge should impose the highest possible punitive damages for Alex Jones, suggesting by one calculation could be as high as 2.75 trillion. And they couldn't pay that. Countries couldn't pay that. Where did it come up with 2.75?
The U.S. couldn't pay that right now.
Where did it come up with that number?
They got up and said to the judge. In fact, there's another Bloomberg headline that says lawyers for the families asked for 2.75 trillion. So you ask where this is going. Ladies and gentlemen, it's worse than I'm saying because there's so much to say. They got me in conferences. The only reason I can say it is because they said it outside of the mediations in Connecticut and Texas. And they said, if you just stop covering guns and stop supporting Trump and all this, we'll just drop all this. So this is all about pure harassment. They also have said they never want money. So they'll say in the news, we want money, we want money, we want money. He got all our money. He made money off us. That's not true. Don't have money to make money off him. They made $300 million off me fundraising, okay? and they got Justice Department money to fund their lawsuits. So on top of it, and you've got all these other high-powered politicians involved. But now, if they set this precedent, which they're doing it to everybody, Giuliani defaulted, Mike Lindell defaulted, all vindicated, doesn't matter. They're going to do this to everybody. This is their new thing, where they default you, and then now, I literally have almost no money in the bank. Under Texas law, I get to keep my house, my car. I don't care. That's fine. But I never had all this money, they said. And so we have it on appeal still at the state of Texas. The Supreme Court, Texas is going to overturn it because the stuff she did was crazy. Even though she found me guilty and then the jury agreed to that, she then, 2 weeks after the show trial, said, I'm finding you guilty of elder abuse because one of the parents is above 63 now, and I'm going to then bust the cap that was like at $500,000 so they could get to their $45 million. Well, she said, I don't care what the Supreme Court, she said in the ruling, I don't care what the Supreme Court says, I'm doing this. So the Supreme Court has that. That's going to get overturned. But I've already been to the Supreme Court on the Connecticut case. They refused to hear it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because in this case, you have serious conspiracy against rights, civil rights violations, where all these groups colluded. Remember when they said The Onion and Bloomberg 2 years ago or a year and a half ago bought InfoWars and it was shut?
Yes.
And then the federal judge overrode it? Then they did a bunch more stuff like that, turning the lights out, sending in armed security, all this stuff. I mean, it has been like the Alamo down there. And so finally, the federal court kicked it out in bankruptcy of 3 years, said we wash our hands because they would never agree to anything. He kicks into state court. Barbara Bellis, the same judge, she said, signs a receiver and tells him to come in and take it over. Under the law, he's supposed to sell it at auction, but they don't want it sold at auction. So now he has just come in and said he's no longer going to allow it to operate and fund next month, even though the money's there to run it. And so they're going to close the doors. He says somewhere around the 7th of March, finally, and we'll shut down. I have the Alex Jones backup network to other people own. I'll pop back on the air, follow me on next with Alex Jones, things like that. But my point is that all the rules are being violated. Well, that's fine because I've got good, high-powered lawyers now, and I had good ones before, but they didn't understand this was the next-level corruption they were dealing with by the courts. That are hitting them at every level. And not every court's corrupt. And the stuff we've deposed them over a year ago, just admitting that, oh, yeah, the plaintiffs and the families, we got together with the U.S. trustee of the Justice Department that came into my case, and we decided people that are going to work with Alex Jones will never be allowed to get this company. So that's why they had the staged auction, was because the judge ordered an auction, so they had a staged auction that wasn't real, so that Michael Bloomberg financing it could get control of my website. They said to confuse people about who I am.
So,
and I know you're a business guy, so you understand all this. Can you translate to the public what you think you're hearing?
No. I'm tracking. The question I got is, can a pardon help you in any way?
I don't think they have pardons for civil matters.
He can't do anything with that, right?
No.
From the top.
Only the public can pardon me by following what I do. Whoever my sponsors are, support them. Because here's the deal. I get to have my crew and have my show and we're building a studio with folks even better than the one before. And so, and under federal and state law, I'm allowed to get my paycheck. They can try to grab it and stuff, but I don't care. I live in a trailer. I live under a bridge. I don't care. They haven't taken away my voice. They haven't taken away.
Have they garnished your wages yet or not yet?
Well, that's the thing is they've never wanted to settle. So the courts keep telling them settle, but they'll never settle because they want to keep the protracted fight going because it's about pinning me down. It's about, they say on TV, we want him off the air. We don't want money. We do this to harass him. We do this to silence him.
So long-term, InfoWars, what's the plans? Are you going to sell? Are you going to move?
They won't let anybody buy it.
They won't let anybody buy it. And whoever that probably buys you, they're going to destroy them as well. They're going to go after them as well.
Well, they're just not letting anybody do it at auction. So now the Onion guy, who's fun about Bloomberg, he has said, "Oh yeah, it's at the state receiver level. I'll be getting it soon."
I'll be getting it soon?
Yep.
What does that mean?
It means that they're not going to have an auction. Because again, under the law, I'm supposed to have something sold so that part of my debt's taken away.
Yeah.
But they go, no. We have you with a no discharge in the federal court. They manipulated the judge there with deception. That's going to get overturned. so that no matter what I pay them, I never get out of it. You understand? It's non-dischargeable, which is the bankruptcy law is supposed to be about that. So then at the state level, we're like, okay, we got people that are ready to buy this for a bunch of money. They go, we don't want money. We're just going to wait, and the receiver's going to give it to us, and you don't get any money taken off what you owe us. Under the law, that's illegal. But they don't care because they got an Antifa judge with blue hair. I mean, imagine you go into a court and there's literal, Antifa sitting there.
So no, they haven't garnished your wages. They haven't taken any money from you yet. You are spending a lot of money with lawyers.
Well, let me be clear what they did. All I had was I'm not into big fancy stuff. All I had was a 127-acre ranch out in the middle of nowhere, an hour from Austin. That was great in a place I never had time to even go there. Okay, it was because it was an emergency. It had a little shack on it that was really cool. It was like 150 years old. Cotton farmers lived there, and so they took that. They got $3 million for it, like triple what I bought it for. They got my little lake house that I bought for like $300,000. They got like $1 million for that. A little cool thing right on the edge of a deal, but I never had time to go to the lake house. So in all my years on air, supposedly making hundreds of millions of dollars, I had this ranch and I had this other thing, and then and I had a Ford Explorer because you get to keep your main car. They got like a 7-year-old Ford Explorer, so they got all that. They had me audited by the IRS, and the IRS came back after a year audit and said, okay, you overpaid taxes the last 5 years, $4.3 million. So that went into them, but then they never want the money. They give it to the lawyers and whoever the receiver is to continue to wage war, and then they spend all the money with PIs and audits and corporate audits.
How much of that money went to the 6 families?
None of it. They don't want the money. They've said in hundreds of clips on TV, we don't want money. All of it is weaponized. They already get $300 million off my name in fundraising. They already get Justice Department money funding their lawsuits. So they got their $300 million, okay, plus off my name. I mean, they literally
the 6 families.
Yes, so they already got $300 million, and it's me, my face, ads. He's brutalizing us. Give us money, help us.
Why didn't the other 14 families sue you?
I think they went and they must have gone and researched. I never said anything about them. I mean, I literally watched a few videos, commented on a few people, had a couple of debates about it, and then talked about one guy who I won't even say his name, but he's real famous. He sees the CNN cameras. They'll go, hey, you're supposed to be on camera, and he's like, going, ha ha ha. And he sees the camera, starts crying. People said that looked fake. Okay, and so all I did was say, yeah, it looks like that to me. I didn't create it, didn't put it out, any of that. That's all they've got. And so when they say they've harassed me, when they say I've harassed them, when they say I've made money off them, none of it is true. They live off of me. But it's not them. It's the lawyers. It's the law firms. It's the Democratic Party. I mean,
yeah, it's pretty wild. So it's not closed. They want to extend. I remember when I got sued by the previous company I was with, the first thing I wanted to do was settle. The moment we settled, I could get my contracts with other insurance company. Later on, the CEO of that company and I had dinner one time, the guy that sued me. He says, what should we have done differently? I said, if you would have kept the lawsuit going, I would have lost a lot of contracts. I would have been out of business. So you should have extended the lawsuit and not settle for the check that I gave you. They sat there and thought about it. They obviously want to destroy you is what they're trying to do. Can they stop you from giving your thoughts and opinions?
No.
They can't stop doing that.
Well, look, that gets incredible. If you go back to June of 2024, when they got caught doing the fake auction and all that, they had the former federal prosecutor and head lawyer, my main inquisitor, it looks like Eddie Munster, come down here with the one dad whose name I had said, and they would kind of bow up at the entrance and raw dog me, it was just pathetic. And they thought we were going to be shut down that day. And they put filings in saying, you can pull this up in Bloomberg, the 13th Amendment does not apply to Alex Jones. It applies to everyone else. He's a special case. We own his name. We own his likeness, basically. We own all. And remember, they went to X and said, we want real Alex Jones. And they said, no, we own that sub URL. And if you can sue and say you can get his content, then you show us the right court ruling. We'll let you download his content, but you will not get real Alex Jones. And Elon spent a bunch of money, got the whole file, countersued them, and they had to back off. Did you guys pull the 13th Amendment thing?
I'm looking.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's in a Bloomberg article. So lawyers say the 13th Amendment is Alex Jones is a special case. 13th Amendment doesn't apply to him. So they literally that's against indentured servitude and slavery. So they literally, if you want to, I think the headline will be like the families. It's always the families, not Democrat PR firms and think tanks. The families of Sandy Hook want Alex Jones' social media, and it's in a Bloomberg article about that. It's also in articles X to intervene in Alex Jones' case.
There you go. You just found it, Rob. All the way at the top. Isn't that the one? Reuters? Reuters is probably quoting 1 to see. That's the one. Click on
Yeah,
it.
there's a bunch of them. The point is, you can read the filing. They said,
Right.
they literally said they own my name. Well, only if you sign a 360 contract like Prince did with Sony or whatever it was, you can sell your likeness and you can sell your name. I've always free to aired my information. In fact, they got a big problem even saying they can own the catalog because I've always said in contracts online, so stations can play us without asking TV stations. I always say this is a free, non-exclusive license to the world. Yeah, there it is. There it is. The 13th Amendment does not apply to him.
Wow.
You got to read the filing. I mean, you can't make this up, man. I mean, they literally. And imagine, I'm walking into the courtroom, just like this. We're like,
Ready to get
and
you.
one time my security had to come over because one of them came over like, he's gonna, and he's like, you only gave us $300 million. We only live off you. We only made all this up about you. And they just got to act like I'm this bad guy. It's fucking crazy, man. I just laugh at them like, you fucking lunatics.
Holy
And like one guy
shit.
looks like Eddie Munster, like walks like a flying monkey. Like it was like, man, my lawyers are like, who are these people?
Do these clips exist or no?
There's no cameras in a federal court. I'm just saying, you got to see these people to believe them. Because they know I haven't done any of this stuff, and they'll just sit there going, every time I turn around, they're just going like, and I'm just like, dude, you know you made $300 million off me. I didn't do any of this. The worst they got is me with a caller one time going, yeah, I can see how it's totally fake, synthetic event. I just move on to the next person. Like I said day one, I think Jussie Smollett's fake. If it was real, it's not why am I bad?
Guys, you've been asking this for a long time. It's official. Alex Jones is on Manect. You can officially ask him any questions on Manect. And I know for the longest time you guys have been saying, let's get Alex on. Rob, I don't know if the QR code is going to be on the bottom or not, or an ability to ask him questions. You guys may have stories of Epstein, angles, other questions, things you want to share with him. You can officially Manect them.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.